You know when you're in a crowded restaurant and the bass is just pumping, the music sounds incredibly rich, but like you don't actually have to shout to the person sitting right across from you.
Right. It's a very specific atmospheric vibe.
Exactly. Well, welcome to the deep dive. Today our mission is unpacking a technical spec sheet we've got from HDTVSupply. We're looking at the QSC AD-P-SUB-WH. It's a 6.5-inch small format passive pendant subwoofer.
Which is a very technical way to say that we're basically exploring how commercial spaces engineer background music to be felt and, not seen.
Yeah. Okay, let's unpack this. I like to imagine this pendant subwoofer as sort of like stealthy architectural lighting. Like it hangs from the ceiling, disguised as this sleek white fixture, entirely designed to set the mood of a room without ever drawing any attention to itself.
Yeah, because while it looks like a piece of modern decor, this sub is engineered specifically for refined depth and clarity. And that's even at lower volume settings.
Right, which is exactly what you want in a restaurant or a lobby.
Exactly. It's really about giving a space that rich acoustic foundation without, forcing anyone to compete with the sound system just to have a normal conversation.
And because the whole goal is for it to be completely stealthy, the physical and acoustic design has to perfectly blend into the environment. I mean, I see in the specs that it's IP34 dust and water resistant.
Yes, which makes total sense, right? Like if it's hanging near, say, a humid patio or a commercial kitchen, it needs that protection.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't even think about the kitchen heat. But acoustically, it's part of the AcousticDesign Series. So it's built to have the exact same tonal characteristics as the surface and ceiling speakers in that same family.
It is.
So is this basically like trying to paint a room where you need the exact same shade of white across entirely different textures like wood, drywall, and metal, just so you don't get a jarring color change when walking through a space?
That's a really great analogy. What's fascinating here is how crucial that consistency really is in commercial audio.
Really? Like,
Right.
would people actually notice?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if a listener walks from a dining room with standard flush ceiling speakers into a lounge using these pendant subwoofers, any shift in the tonal quality immediately breaks the illusion.
Ah.
But by matching those acoustic signatures, system integrators can create a truly seamless transition across these blended installations. You just never perceive the handoff from one speaker to the next.
Which obviously requires doing some heavy lifting under the hood to make a pendant sound identical to a completely different ceiling speaker. I'm looking at the hardware, and this thing packs a dual voice coil.
Right, and that dual voice coil is key. It effectively doubles the power handling compared to a standard single coil.
Which helps with thermal dissipation, right? So it
Yeah.
doesn't overheat, letting it hit a 111 decibel peak in the 50 to 150 hertz range.
Exactly. It pushes a lot more air and produces deeper bass without distorting, but it also features these built-in high-pass filtered outputs.
Okay, what does that actually mean for the setup?
Well, it means the subwoofer grabs all the low rumbling bass frequencies just for itself and then automatically filters the higher frequencies out to up to 4 satellite speakers that are connected directly to it.
Wait, really? Hooking up 4 satellite speakers directly to one sub sounds like a ton of strain.
Mm-hmm.
Here's where it gets really interesting. If you daisy chain that much hardware together across, I don't know, a massive hotel lobby, doesn't that just complicate the power draw or fry the amplifier?
You would definitely think that wiring would be an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
But QSC actually gets around it by using a low-loss 70 and 100-volt transformer, and it has a 4-ohm bypass,
Okay, and where they put all that bulky hardware?
cleverly hidden right under a snap-fit magnetic grill.
Sneaky. So
Yeah.
the exterior stays completely clean and blemish-free.
Exactly. Think of it kind of like a city's power grid. Instead of sending low voltage that drops off after a few feet, it pushes high voltage over long distances.
Wow, okay.
So you can daisy chain dozens of speakers without the power fading at the end of the line. And by including that built-in crossover, it just slashes the setup time and dramatically reduces the required amplifier channel count.
That is wild. And, for you listening, if you're wondering why you should care about a 70-volt transformer or a 4-ohm bypass, just think about the last time you were in a nice lounge.
Right.
When the background music feels incredibly full, but you cannot point to exactly where that rich bass is coming from, you are likely experiencing this exact type of blended, low-volume engineering.
And we really shouldn't ignore the digital side of this equation either, because intrinsic correction voicings via the QSYS platforms or even their NPM series mixers can instantly optimize this entire setup.
Intrinsic correction, is that basically software?
Yeah, it's software that essentially maps out the speaker's acoustic behavior and just irons out any wrinkles in the sound waves before they even leave the speaker.
Yeah.
It proves that the processing software is just as crucial as the physical hardware to achieve that perfect sound.
It really is a masterclass in hidden design. Which leaves us with this to think about. If audio technology can now be this seamlessly integrated and acoustically disguised as lighting fixtures, what other sensory design elements in our public spaces are actively manipulating our mood without us ever noticing?